All right, Jeff, here we go. Before he hits the air tonight at 6 p.m. for SportsCenter, always great to get a few minutes with Philly's own Kevin Negandhi. Kevin, thank you so much for coming back. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Jason, Jeff, pleasure to join you guys. Appreciate you guys having me on.
We always love getting some time with you. I'm going to start at a subject that I know is close to your heart, the Eagles. All right, so what do I make of this season? A team that didn't beat a team with a winning record all season, but made the playoffs and then got waxed by Tom Brady. What do I make of it?
Progress and hope, because you saw the development of this past draft, with Devontae and Dickerson. I think you saw the emergence of Goddard. I started this year thinking this was a 9-win ceiling, 6-win bottom. So for them to get the 9 wins and get to the playoffs is great. All I wanted was I thought it was really important that Jalen Hurts got just starts. Like, again, we're talking about a young man who has 20 starts in his career, and the goal was just to see things. The problem was that last game exposed a lot of things, and he has struggled with the ball going to the left side and throwing. And he was super inaccurate, and Todd Bowles is going to take advantage of that, a smart defensive coordinator. Your warts pop up in the playoffs, and we saw all of them. So my biggest concern right now is just where's the growth of Jalen Hurts? Here's the other thing. It did not affect us on the field, but they picked up another first-round pick with the Colts trade, which Howie did a year ago, and that really paid off. So they've got to nail another draft. They've got to nail another, top 3 to 4 picks to have impact on a roster that has a lot of holes. And I hope that they address it, especially on the defensive side, and then they got to get a number 2 wide receiver.
Kevin, most people know you because they get across the country, everybody's getting their sports news from you. Is there a point at which you turn to the people that you work with and say, I want more Philly?
Well, I had a conversation. My crew, we have a meeting every noon when we go over storylines. And, the last couple of weeks I've banged the drum on Joel Embiid. And they've listened to me, and I've given some reason why, hey, this is why we need to have Kendrick Perkins on. It's not just, hey, I'm going to just say Joel Embiid should be the MVP. It's let's back it up. So they trust me that when I bring up the Philadelphia topic of sports, it's for a reason. It's for, it's a way to help the producer understand that I'm seeing it a little bit closer. Last night's game with the Lakers, I brought it up in the meeting that Embiid didn't play really well when you look at his numbers, but they needed him in that second half to win the game because what he does with everybody else. And then I said the other hook line was Anthony Davis was fantastic. He outplayed Embiid because he had his legs. Embiid didn't have his legs. You saw that. I mean, Embiid was struggling with his legs, especially in the second half at the free throw line. Davis was fresh, and yet the Sixers dominated that game because the Lakers roster, at least how it was put together this offseason, it has been horrendous. So, it's a hook to bring in the Sixers conversation and then continue the conversation with something that's a big theme with the Lakers and how they looked last night without LeBron. So I find those spots, but at the same time, I hear about it when our teams stink. Trust me.
So Kendrick Perkins, you mentioned Kendrick Perkins. I believe he tweeted yesterday that Joel Embiid is the greatest big man of all time. What?
He said that to me he said that to me on the air on Wednesday. We brought him on, and he said he's the greatest. He's the most talented and skilled center we've ever seen. And I went back at him and I said, You're sure you're saying this because Hakeem Olajuwon is, everybody goes down with his footwork as the greatest center of all time, skill set wise. And he doubled down and said, Joel Embiid is the greatest skilled center ever. And I was like, all right, I needed to hear that again. So Perk has been on this train for a long time.
All right, so now I'm going to present this scenario to you. It's 2 minutes before SportsCenter goes on, and you get a note that the Sixers have made a trade. What do you want to announce?
Because you know who he's asking about the trade for there, Kevin.
Yeah, you're like, what, that the Nets have decided that they want to get rid of James Harden and not lose him for the summer, and now that would be incredible. I mean, I think in a perfect world, but the Nets wouldn't do that because they're helping their rival there get maybe a step closer. Well, who knows what you're going to get with Ben Simmons? Like, literally, I don't think any team knows what they're going to get mentally. And it's a roll of the dice, especially a team like the Nets. So I don't think that's happening before the trade deadline. I'd be curious to see if we do make a trade. I will bring up one thing. You mentioned the idea of 2 minutes before going on the air and breaking some type of big news, which happens at least twice a week. The news that's related to Philly that I'll never forget that happened literally it was within an hour before we went on the air was Bryce Harper, which was great. Bryce Harper signing in Philly. Bryce Harper winning the MVP. That happened while we were on the air. A funny story, I was on the air, was it 2009 NFC title game, and the team's in Arizona, and we all know what happened in the fourth quarter, and I'm on the air when they have the lead, and they fall apart. The Eagles fall apart, and Kurt Warner does his thing, and I'll never forget they pop us back on camera, after the game, and I'm with Trent Dilfer and Merrill Hodge, and I just went off. I went off for about 15 minutes with those guys, and it was really cathartic. People are like, "Are you mad now after the show?" And I'm like, "No, I feel great now. I got it out of my system."
I'm all better now.
So, like, those are the benefits of doing what I do on TV when talking about Philadelphia sports.
All right, I got to ask you the other side of Philly sports before we get to some other topics with you. Flyers have lost 13 games in a row. They haven't won in 2022. What are we seeing with this organization?
I think we're seeing the bottom, and what concerns me is where's the hope, right? A couple years ago, I think our hope was around Carter Hart. Finally, we have a goaltender, right? And he's young, and this is going to be where's the hope with this team? Because that fan base is the most loyal fan base, I think, in any of the four sports across the country. And if you're going to have a news conference and you're going to blame external factors like COVID, well, every team's gone through COVID. And there are teams that have got hit worse than the Flyers in the NHL with COVID, and they still have a better record. And to insult, I think, the fan base by suggesting you're a couple of pieces away, I think it's just a slap in the face to a very loyal group. You look at the track record of the GM, where has he had success where you could feel comfortable to believe him? That they're okay and that they're going to be okay. So I think this is the bottom, and I hope that they've hit rock bottom because I don't know how they can get worse. For a team that has just 5 wins since November, and then you look at the rival, the Penguins, who have just 5 losses since that same time frame, it's utterly embarrassing. And it's just a punch in the gut every single night for that fan base that is so loyal to the orange and black.
Kevin, we wanted to have you on a while ago, but you've been a little busy with the college football playoffs and stuff to talk about the V Foundation. What has it been like working with ESPN and being part of promoting the V Foundation and what it means to that organization and the V Foundation, especially with what's been going on with one of your colleagues in Dick Vitale?
It's amazing. It's amazing because you find a way to just press the pause button about, who you're rooting for, and suddenly it unifies everybody because everybody I know has a friend or a family member that has been affected by cancer. I lost two mentors that meant the world to me in Gary Papa of Channel 6, Action News, and Rick Beardsley, who was a mentor at Temple University, a phenomenal professor. Then losing Stuart Scott. It's just a gut punch. And to have an organization and a company like ESPN that says, hey, all hands on deck, we believe in this, we'll do whatever we can. to continue the fight. One of the things that's so special about what Dickie V has done is Dickie V has focused on raising money for pediatric cancer research, because Dick will tell you, every dollar you spend, 4 cents goes to just research for pediatric cancer. That's it. So he is dedicated, and I've told Dick this many times before, this is your legacy, not you being a Hall of Fame broadcasting college basketball icon. This is your legacy, you and Lorraine, his wife, of giving back and raising over $40 million for pediatric cancer research. And John Saunders, the late, great John Saunders, and Dick had a wonderful gala. John was the MC. When John passed, Dick asked me, would you take over John's role as the MC? And I was floored, touched, and humbled by it. And for the last 4 years, I've been to Dickie V's gala before in the past, before I emceed it. It's incredible what he does in that room. It's 30 minutes of his heart, like just pouring out, no prompter, telling stories about kids in the room and their parents and what they've gone through. And I've stressed this multiple times at the gala, it's not just one night. It's 365 days a year and families going through it along with the kids. And the kids have such resiliency, and they're often forgotten. And Dick makes sure that their memories are carried. And so for him to get it, first melanoma, now lymphoma, in the last 6 months, I talked to him repeatedly and stressed one thing. Hey, take care of your body. You're 82, but mentally you're like a 15-year-old, man. You can't stop. You want to talk all the time. You want to be around everything, and you feed off of the, social media and people, and you're such a people person. But we need you long term because you are the face of this fight. And, Lorraine will always tell you, like, he could say all that. You could say all that stuff, but he ain't going to listen to anybody because that's who Dick Vitale is. I think what the last month has done, though, with the vocal cord issue and how he's going to miss the season, it's basically given him no choice. Hey, you got to take a break. And the gala's in May. Our goal is to raise $7 million this year to get to $50 million. And I think we're going to do it. And it's all because of the passion of Dick Vitale and the backing of ESPN and their support for the V Foundation. And I'm just honored to be around it. People can say that stuff, but I really genuinely mean it because when you talk to a boy or a girl who's 7 or 8 years old and has gone through chemo for a year and they don't ask questions to why, they just do it and they show you their strength and support, man, you want to take all the money in your pocket and your bank account to give it to a foundation that's doing research to stop, this awful disease that's taken over. So I know I've gone on a rant here about this, but excuse me, it just means the world to me, and I'm just proud to be a part of it at ESPN and in support of Dick Vitale.
It's actually the perfect thing and not a rant. It just makes it difficult to ask not serious questions after that. So that's the hard part.
You guys can ask me anything.
Don't worry, Jeff's got it for you. Here you go.
All right. Well, you really shouldn't have said that. But before we let you go, and by the way, as we get closer to the event, please call on us. We will be glad to tell everybody about it and to continue to support the V Foundation. But we believe in giving everybody a fair chance to have their side of the story. So we've had somebody that you know pretty well who's an Eagles fan, Michael Collins, on here a couple times. And he has talked.
Oh boy!
Yeah, he has talked to us about this and has shown us the tattoo that he has for the Eagles. Now, his side of the story is that there was a deal between the two of you, and that only one of you has fulfilled the obligations of that deal. You have the floor.
So Michael and I, the caddy at ESPN, I love the guy to death. He's a passionate Eagles fan. And, leading into, that season as they were progressing, he brought up the idea of, hey, I'm getting a tattoo if they win the Super Bowl. And I was like, no, are you really? He goes, yeah, you want to join in? And I probably said yes. Here's the thing. It then grew a life of its own. and he's 100% right. I'm going to get a tattoo. But then, like, scheduling-wise, this happened, in 2018? Then 2019 happened, and it was just like, I'm going to get it. And then 2020 happened with COVID. So, like, because I'm going to get a couple of more tattoos. We're going to get more ink, and it is on the list. I promise it's on the list. I've told Michael Collins that, but he's now to that point where he doesn't believe me, and I don't blame him. But I will get a Super Bowl 52 Eagles tattoo. Trust me.
Well, I will. We do have to let you go because you have to be live on the air, but we'll send you the audio we didn't play of him saying that he believes the pandemic is the perfect time to get it because of all of the time that you have on your hands. So we'll make sure to share that with
Michael doesn't understand, guys. Michael doesn't understand. I still work. I've worked every single day that has been allotted to me. It's me, Van Pelt, and Mike Greenberg. We have been working every single day. There have been no days off in my book when it comes to the 6 p.m. SportsCenter or college football.
You can come down here and do the remote, and we will have the tattoo artist here for you.
We'll be all ready. Don't you worry. Look, Kevin, we can't thank you enough. It's always a blast when we get to talk to you. Please, let's keep updated on what's going on with the V Foundation so we can get that out there, and I look forward to having you on again another time.
Thank you, guys. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
All right, you take care.